Jason was an ambitious young man living in a small house in the suburbs. After years of hard work and saving money, he decided to sell his home and move to a bigger place. One day, he saw an advertisement for a beautiful mansion with grand gardens, offered at an incredibly low price. The mansion was old, but its unique design and vast grounds captivated him. Despite some neighbors warning him about the mansion's eerie reputation, Jason thought it was a chance too good to pass up. After lengthy negotiations, he managed to buy the property at an even lower price than expected. He dreamed of building a new life there, filled with opportunities. But soon, doubts began to creep in. On the first few nights, he heard strange noises coming from the upper floors. Faint whispers and footsteps, as if someone was moving around the mansion. He dismissed these as mere figments of his imagination, convincing himself it was just his mind playing tricks. As time passed, however, things grew more unsettling. One night, he woke up to the sound of breaking glass. Rushing to the kitchen, he found a window wide open, even though he was sure he had closed it before bed. Rather than feeling reassured, he was left with a creeping sense of unease. The next day, he decided to investigate the mansion's mysterious past. He started searching property records and speaking with the neighbors. To his horror, he discovered that a family once lived there, torn apart by internal conflicts that culminated in a tragic accident taking the life of one family member. Since the incident, rumors circulated that the mansion was haunted. Jason felt as though everything around him was changing. The mansion transformed into a dark and ominous place, instilling fear in his heart. Yet something held him back from leaving. Perhaps it was the mansion's spirit calling him, or maybe there were secrets still left undiscovered. One night, he decided to confront his fears. Armed with a flashlight, he ventured into the basement, where he'd heard strange noises. With each step, his heart pounded louder. As he entered the dimly lit room, he found something unsettling. An old photograph of a family who once lived in the house, their eyes seeming to follow him. Suddenly, the lights began flickering, and a cold chill swept through the air. A misty figure appeared, smiling in a sinister way, and whispered, "Why haven't you left yet?" Gathering his courage, Jason asked, "What do you want from me?" But the shadowy figure slowly faded, leaving behind a dense fog and an eerie, strangled scream echoing in the air. In that moment, Jason realized that the mansion wasn't going to let him go so easily. He had bought more than just a house. He had tied himself to its haunting past. And now he had to choose: confront the restless spirits or flee forever. After some time living in the mansion, Jason tried to adapt to the loss of his wife, who had passed away long before he bought the place. Her absence left a deep wound in his heart, and he did his best to be a good father to his son, Luca, who had been spending a holiday with his grandmother, Jason's late wife's mother. When Luca returned from his grandparents' house, Jason welcomed him with enthusiasm, hoping his laughter would fill the vast halls of the mansion and ease his own sadness. But Luca frequently talked about disturbing nightmares in which a mysterious figure appeared, laughing in a terrifying way. Jason didn't think the dreams were a serious issue at first, but his concern grew when Luca started avoiding certain rooms in the house. One night, Jason awoke to strange, unsettling laughter echoing throughout the mansion. The sound was deep and haunting, as if it seeped from the very walls. A strong sense of unease filled him, and he rushed to check on Luca. He ran to Luca's room and cautiously opened the door. Luca was sitting on his bed, his eyes wide with fear. Jason looked at him and asked, "What's wrong, son?" But before Luca could answer, they both heard a deep sound coming from the ceiling fan. Jason's heart nearly stopped when he saw his son begin to lift off the bed, as if an unseen force had gripped him. Luca let out a small whimper, as though something sinister was controlling him. Jason, shocked and terrified, watched as the strange laughter filled the room. Summoning his courage, Jason grabbed a chair, placed it under Luca, and climbed up to try to free him. But before he could reach him, a shadowy figure appeared from the darkness, laughing malevolently. It was a misty creature with eyes that glowed with a fiery evil. "Leave him alone," Jason shouted, feeling an invisible force pulling him back, as though the creature was toying with his life. He tried desperately to save his son, but the only response he got was the eerie laughter ringing in his ears. The figure then spoke in a low, chilling voice. "This place is mine now. I warned you to leave the past behind." Fear gripped Jason's heart, but he refused to give up. He shouted back at the entity, "You won't take my son." At that moment, a blinding light filled the room, as if the spirits of the mansion had responded to his desperate call. The creature slowly retreated, laughing in a haunting manner before vanishing into the darkness. Jason, breathless and shaken, managed to release Luca, who fell to the floor, gasping in fear. As silence returned, Jason realized the mansion was not just a place. It was a prison for spirits of the past. He knew he had to leave and protect his son from whatever haunted this place. Jason and Luca packed up in a hurry, feeling the mansion's dark presence receding as they prepared to leave. As they walked away, Jason understood he might be leaving a part of himself behind in that house, but he chose hope and his love for his son above all else.